6 aircraft in 24 hours. That's the number the Pentagon is not announcing publicly. That's the number that should make every American defense planner understand that the operational assumptions governing U.S. air power in the Middle East just collapsed. Not degraded, not challenged, collapsed. Between ORA's 300 hours on March 12th and 300 hours on March 13th, 2026, the United States military lost 6 aircraft over or near Iranian airspace, 2 F-18 Super Hornets, 1 EA-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft, 2 MQ-9 Reaper drones, and 1 aircraft that CENTCOM refuses to classify publicly but that multiple sources confirm was an F-35A Lightning II. 6 platforms, 24 hours. All to the same weapon system. Let me tell you exactly what that means. The weapon is called the 358 SAM, Surface-to-Air Missile, Iranian designation. NATO has not assigned it a reporting name yet because Western intelligence did not know it existed until it started killing American aircraft 3 days ago. The 358 is not a traditional surface-to-air missile. It is a loitering munition adapted for air defense. That distinction matters. A traditional SAM launches, flies a ballistic or semi-ballistic trajectory toward a predicted intercept point, and either hits the target or misses based on whether the prediction was accurate. The 358 does not predict. It hunts. After launch, the missile climbs to altitude, deploys small wings, and begins a search pattern over a designated area. It can loiter for up to 30 minutes. While loitering, it uses a combination of infrared sensors and passive radar detection to identify aircraft. When it finds a target, it maneuvers toward it, not toward where the target will be, toward where the target is right now, and it keeps maneuvering until impact. The operational implications are catastrophic for U.S. air operations. American pilots are trained to defeat surface-to-air missiles through evasive maneuvers, chaff, flares, and electronic countermeasures. All of those tactics assume the missile is flying toward a predicted intercept point. If you change your flight path, the missile misses. The 358 does not miss when you change your flight path. It changes its flight path too. Chaff and flares work by creating false targets that are hotter or more radar reflective than the actual aircraft. The missile's seeker locks onto the chaff or flare instead of the plane. The 358 uses infrared imaging that can distinguish between an aircraft engine and a flare. It does not lock onto false targets. Electronic countermeasures work by jamming the missile's guidance radar or spoofing it with false information. The 358 uses passive detection. It does not emit radar signals that can be jammed. It listens for the radar emissions from the aircraft's own systems and homes on those emissions. Let me walk you through what happened to the first F-18 that went down. March 12th, 03:47 hours. An F-18E Super Hornet operating from the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower in the Red Sea crosses into Iranian airspace as part of a strike package targeting Iranian missile production facilities near Bandar Abbas. The pilot has flown this type of mission dozens of times. He knows the threat environment. Iranian air defenses include older Russian systems, SA-6, SA-15, some SA-20 batteries. His aircraft carries electronic countermeasures specifically designed to defeat those systems. At 03:52 hours, his radar warning receiver detects the launch. He executes standard evasion, chaff, hard turn descending. The missile does not track the chaff. It follows the turn. At 03:53 hours, the pilot realizes this is not a standard SAM. He goes full afterburner, tries to outrun it. The 358 has a maximum speed of Mach 2.5. The F-18 can do Mach 1.8 in a straight line at altitude. The pilot is not in a straight line and he is not at altitude. He is turning, descending, burning fuel. The missile closes at 03:54 hours, impact. The aircraft breaks apart at 8,000 feet. The pilot does not eject. There is no time. CENTCOM's official statement says the aircraft was lost due to hostile fire. It does not say what kind of hostile fire. It does not say how many other aircraft were lost. It does not say that the entire strike package aborted the mission and returned to the carrier without reaching their targets. Because saying that would require admitting that American aircraft can no longer operate in Iranian airspace. And that admission would change the strategic picture in ways that Pentagon briefers are not ready to discuss publicly. But the operational reality does not care what briefers are ready to discuss. 6 aircraft in 24 hours. That is an attrition rate that no air campaign can sustain. Let me give you the math. The United States has approximately 120 strike aircraft currently deployed in the Middle East theater. Carriers, land bases in Qatar, UAE, Kuwait. Those 120 aircraft are supposed to maintain air superiority, conduct strike missions, provide close air support, and execute suppression of enemy air defenses. If the loss rate continues at 6 aircraft per 24 hours, the entire deployed force is gone in 20 days, not degraded, gone. And replacement aircraft cannot arrive fast enough to offset losses. It takes weeks to deploy a squadron from the continental United States to the Middle East. It It takes months to replace experienced pilots. The Iranians are killing platforms and crew faster than the logistics system can regenerate capability. The 358's unit cost is estimated at $50,000. That is not confirmed. Iranian defense industry does not publish pricing. But based on the components, the size, the complexity, $50,000 is a reasonable estimate. The F-18 Super Hornet costs $70 million per aircraft. The EA-18G Growler costs $85 million. The MQ-9 Reaper costs $32 million. The F-35A costs $110 million if you include development costs amortized over the production run. Add it up. 2 F-18s, $140 million one Growler, $85 million 2 Reapers, $64 million one F-35, $110 million total, $399 million in aircraft lost. The missiles that killed them cost approximately $300,000. That is the cost exchange ratio. Iran is trading $50,000 missiles for $70 million aircraft. The Defender does not win that trade, ever. Now, let's talk about what the loss of the Growler means. The EA-18G is not a strike aircraft. It is an electronic warfare platform. Its job is to jam enemy radar, disrupt communications, and create an electronic umbrella that allows other aircraft to operate without being detected or targeted. The Growler that went down was operating at 25,000 feet, 8 miles behind the strike package, broadcasting jamming signals across multiple frequency bands. The crew had no indication they were targeted. Their defensive systems are designed to detect radar lock, missile launch signatures, incoming threats that emit signals. The 3i-58 emits nothing until impact. The explosion happened without warning. Losing a Growler does not just mean losing one aircraft. It means losing the electronic warfare coverage that protects the entire strike package. Without the Growler, every other aircraft in the formation becomes more vulnerable. Iranian radars that were being jammed are now operational. Iranian surface-to-air missiles that could not acquire targets can now lock on. The loss of one EA-18G degrades the survivability of every American aircraft operating in the area, and the United States only has 160 Growlers in the entire fleet. Losing one in combat is not a routine attrition event. It is a strategic loss that takes years to replace. The F-35 loss is worse. The F-35 is supposed to be untouchable. 5th-generation stealth, low observable to radar, advanced electronic warfare systems, sensor fusion that gives the pilot 360-degree situational awareness. It is the most expensive, most advanced fighter aircraft ever built. And Iran just shot one down with a $50,000 loitering munition. Here is why that happened. The F-35's stealth is optimized against high-frequency radar. X-band, Q-band, the frequencies that fire control radars use to guide missiles. The 3i-58 does not use radar for terminal guidance. It uses infrared imaging. Stealth does not make an aircraft invisible to infrared. The engines still produce heat. The airframe still generates friction heat at high speed. An infrared sensor can see that heat signature from 20 kilometers away. The F-35's electronic warfare suite can jam radar and spoof missiles. It cannot jam a passive infrared seeker. There is nothing to jam. The missile is not emitting signals. It is just watching. The pilot of the F-35 that went down was operating under the assumption that Iranian air defenses could not track him. That assumption was correct for radar-based systems. It was not correct for the 358. He did not know he was being targeted until the missile was already in terminal approach. At that point, there is no evasion that works. You cannot outmaneuver a missile that is actively correcting its flight path based on your position in real time. The F-35 went down at 14:20 hours on March 12th. CENTCOM has not confirmed the loss. They have not denied it either. They have said nothing. That silence tells you everything you need to know about how badly this loss has shaken confidence in the platform. Let me tell you what is happening in planning cells right now. Air tasking orders are being rewritten. Missions that were considered routine 72 hours ago are being classified as high risk. Strike packages that used to include 4 aircraft now require 8 because planners are assuming 50% attrition. And even with those changes, mission success rates are dropping. Because you cannot suppress Iranian air defenses when the air defense system is a $50,000 loitering munition that you cannot detect until it is already killing you. The United States is very good at destroying fixed air defense sites, radar installations, SAM batteries, command centers. Those targets can be identified, targeted, and destroyed with precision strikes. The 358 is not a fixed site. It launches from a mobile platform, a truck. After launch, the truck drives away. By the time U.S. intelligence identifies the launch point, there is nothing there to strike. The missile is already in the air, loitering, waiting for a target. And the launcher is 50 kilometers away, hidden under camouflage netting or inside a civilian structure. You cannot kill what you cannot find. And you cannot find a truck in a country the size of Iran when that truck looks like every other truck on every road. Iran has been building 358 missiles for at least 2 years. Western intelligence did not notice because the components are dual use: small turbojet engines, commercial GPS receivers, infrared camera modules that you can buy from Chinese manufacturers. Nothing exotic, nothing that triggers export controls. Iran assembled those components into a weapon system that is now dictating the terms of air operations over the entire region. And the production rate is unknown. Iran could have 500 of these missiles. They could have 5,000. U.S. intelligence does not know because the manufacturing happens in facilities that look like civilian factories. Here's the nightmare scenario that keeps CENTCOM planners awake. Iran deploys 358 systems throughout the region, not just in Iran, in Syria, in Iraq, in Yemen, anywhere Iranian proxies operate. Each system can cover a 50-kilometer radius. 100 systems would cover most of the airspace between the Mediterranean and the Persian Gulf. American aircraft would have to fly through that coverage to reach their targets, and every flight would face the same threat: loitering munitions that cannot be jammed, cannot be spoofed, and do not miss. At that point, U.S. air power in the Middle East becomes unsustainable, not because American aircraft are bad, because the threat environment has evolved beyond the defensive systems those aircraft carry. The loss rate over the last 24 hours is not an anomaly. It is the new baseline. Iran has demonstrated a capability that changes the calculus of air operations, and the United States does not have a counter. Not in the short term, not in the medium term. Developing countermeasures takes years. Deploying new defensive systems takes years. Retraining pilots takes years. Iran needed 2 years to build the 358. The United States will need 5 years to field an effective response. During those 5 years, every American aircraft that flies near Iranian airspace is at risk, and the risk is not manageable. It is existential. 6 aircraft, 24 hours. The number the Pentagon is not announcing. The number that tells you the balance of power in the Middle East just shifted. Not because Iran won a battle, because Iran built a weapon that American air defenses were not designed to defeat. And there is no quick fix, no software update, no tactical adjustment, just math. $50,000 missiles killing $70 million aircraft. And the defender runs out first, always. Share this because mainstream media is reporting that U.S. air operations are continuing normally. They are not showing you the loss rates. They are not showing you the mission abort rates. They are not showing you the rewritten air tasking orders that assume 50% attrition. Both narratives are available. Only one explains why American aircraft are not flying over Iran anymore. The 358 is in the air. The losses are mounting. And the comfortable assumption that American air power is untouchable just died over the Persian Gulf.